One of my favorite things to talk about on the Speak Organized podcast is niching or finding your specialty within the industry. And if you're a professional organizer, there's tons of different ways you can take your business. So today we're going to be talking about move management. And I'm going to be giving you, of course, expert tips and insights with today's podcast guest.
So realtors, stagers, and then moving companies. Get your name out there, meet with the owners of these companies and just say, this is a service that we offer. I haven't really advertised in print. It's just word of mouth through realtors, stagers, and moving companies.
We're talking about tackling the most challenging aspects of move management, exploring the roles of technology, and probably most importantly, uncovering how to attract higher paying clients. Stay tuned as we debunk common myths and share valuable insights on pricing strategies, networking, and staying ahead of industry trends. Get ready to transform your business with the possibility of adding move management as a service that's going to create an unforgettable experience for your clients. Stick around. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome to the Speak Organized podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Summers, professional organizer, decluttering expert, and ADHD organizing specialist. I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. Do me a big old favor and take out your device and tap that subscribe button if you haven't already to become a member of the Speaker fam. It would be my absolute honor to have you on board. Don't forget, as you get value out of this episode and all of the other hours of free content offered on this channel, that you give us a big old thumbs up and tap the notification bell on YouTube so that you're notified whenever we post new content every single week. And if you're an Apple Podcast user, we would love it if you could leave us a rave 5-star review to help other amazing folks just like you find our content and get value out of it every single day. If you've been hanging out with us for a while and you love all things I Speak Organized and you want to say thank you with a donation, any size amount is totally fine. We're grateful for the support, and I will be sure to leave that information down in the description of the video and the podcast show notes. And we thank you humbly in advance for helping us to produce the highest quality content we possibly can. And if you're jonesing for that genuine connection, you just have some simple questions that you need to get answered, well then I've got the perfect place for you. You can join my free Facebook group. That link will be down in the description of the video. We've got 3,500 members and counting in there, all ready to jump in and offer support and answer any of your questions. The main mission here at I Speak Organized is to give you the best quality tools and resources to level up your business and have a truly successful 6 or 7-figure business that doesn't suck away all of your time. So if you're brand new to all of this and it seems very overwhelming, you don't really know where to start, you have come to the right place. I am your go-to gal for all things pro-organizing business. If you're afraid that you aren't enough, like you don't have enough experience or you don't really have the goods to bring to the table to charge what other people charge or whatever story you happen to be telling yourself, I am here to help you understand that you can be exceptional with the right tools and training. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how I can help you with that. But in the meantime, let's get into this juicy interview. All right, Speaker fam, we are here with Marisa from MacMom Organizing in New Jersey. She's going to be talking to us today about move management as a specialty in the home organizing industry. Marisa, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Melanie. I can't believe we're finally face to face.
Weird, isn't it?
How many years have we been friends on Insta?
Yeah. You guys,
Long time.
Marisa and I have been friends for years on social media, and we've never met in person yet. We're going to see each other this September at the H2 Summit. But yeah, we've been friends for probably
a long time.
At least 4 years.
Yeah, at least 4 years. So
yeah,
we've both been in the game a long time and we're still standing.
That's right. And it's been so fun to see your progression in business and how you've grown. And it's very encouraging. You know, we were talking a little bit off camera earlier about how it's challenging, but it is possible. And so we're going to talk about one of the ways that we can really grow a thriving business. And I know you had one of your best years yet last year because of this service. Would you say?
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So we're talking about move management, and I'm wondering, Marisa, if you can just share some insights with us. It's a challenging service to offer, but if we break it down into the certain aspects, how can professional organizers overcome these challenges and provide this exceptional service?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to have help when you're taking on moving jobs. So if you are a solopreneur, it's a little tough, right? But it's not impossible. You can partner with other local organizers to help you, but you do moves require manpower. So
Mm.
I have a team that works with me, and that's how we're able to offer this service. So I think that's the first thing you have to consider is do you have a team and do you have the manpower to even take on moving jobs? Because they do require people
Right,
when
absolutely. And you're not so and a lot of people have a misconception when it comes to moving jobs that you guys are acting as a moving company. You're not doing that. There's no truck, none of that. It's more what happens before the move, possibly during if you're offering like move concierge services and then after, right? So you're kind of
exactly.
on either side of the game here, packing and unpacking.
Right. And some moves are concierge where we do soup to nuts. Some might just be the packing and they're moving out of state and we don't see it on the other end. And others are the unpacking where we didn't do the packing, but we're coming in after the movers and doing the unpacking. We very rarely arrive the same day as the movers, or maybe just my team, one of my team will arrive the day of the movers. We try to come right after because it can be a little chaotic.
Mhm.
But depending on the situation, there have been jobs where we're taking stuff off, the stuff is coming off the truck and we're unpacking and going. It just depends. It's always good to have a day in between if you can. And that day that the movers come, usually myself or my team leader there to kind of direct where the boxes are going. But it's hard to do it if you can leave a day in between. I find that that's the best approach,
Mhm.
but it's not always possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's a good tip. So one of the things you mentioned, obviously, in order to offer this service successfully, is to have a manpower. We're not talking about a humongous team, maybe between 2 and 5 people on
Yeah.
site, something like that.
That's kind of the sweet spot. I would say most moves, we have a team of 4 to 5,
Mhm.
3 if it's a smaller project. And it also depends, are you doing the whole house? Are you only doing certain rooms? Sometimes people might just contract you, kitchen is usually a no-brainer. People, clients usually want the kitchen, pantry,
Mhm.
closets, sometimes the bedrooms, garage. It just depends. A whole house, you'll be there for a week or so, but if it's just a couple rooms, maybe just 3 or 4 days. It depends on the scope of the project, and you really need to outline that when you're doing the contract, exactly what are we responsible for.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue into my next question, which kind of revolves around the role of technology in this field.
Mm,
So it's not just you coming in and unpacking some boxes and organizing things in a pretty way. There has to be a system and a process. And
mhm.
so let's talk a little bit about what types of tools and software you recommend. What do you guys use to streamline this and really make it an exceptional service to offer your clients?
Okay, so I personally, we don't go crazy. I'm not a huge spreadsheet person,
Mhm.
so I might be the wrong organizer to answer this question, but we use Google Sheets for a lot of things where we keep tally of, what's in each room. We also keep track if we're doing the packing of all the supplies that we used. We always include that in our invoice, so our clients always know what we brought, what we used, what the cost is. It's a running tally when we're on site. We have our laptop. So when we leave at the end of the day, I can tell them this is where we're at.
Mhm.
This is the product that we've used. We're always letting our clients know where we are within the budget. So that's the way that we manage it. In terms of packing, you can get labels off of Amazon that say, color coded labels, kitchen, dining room, living room. We use those. Sharpie is always used in a moving job, right on those boxes. Like it doesn't have to be a crazy automated system. There just has to be a system so that you know what rooms the boxes came from, where they're going,
Mhm.
have some sort of a spreadsheet, but I don't have like a program of we really just use Google Sheets for that, if that's a simple answer.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect. And it's funny because when we do
Mhm.
move management jobs, I don't even use spreadsheets most of the time. We use a QR code label inventory system
Mhm.
that kind of it's a similar thing. And then I'm just keeping lists and I use Google Docs for
Yeah.
things like that. So it's good. I'm glad you pointed that out because I think people get very intimidated when we talk about tools or
Sure.
technology and software, and it really can be very simple. And you
Mhm.
pick a system, right? And you stick
Pick a system. I mean, I do a lot of moves, and I am gonna look into the QR code. I was thinking about that, but right now, I mean, a Sharpie, a Google Doc, and a Google Sheet will get you started, and it works fine for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're on site with these clients sometimes for an entire week at a time,
Mhm.
making magic happen in their eyes.
Exactly.
So this is it's a unique service for sure. It's not necessarily something that a lot of organizers or a lot of people consider to be part of the organizing industry. So it requires different marketing tactics and potentially higher paying clients because it's larger budgets
Mhm.
necessary to complete this service. There's a lot of time and effort both on the front end and on the back end and on site to
Mhm.
make this a streamlined process. So what advice would you give to organizers looking at this particular service in terms of marketing and attracting those higher paying clients?
I would say realtors are your best bet. That's where I get 90% of my moving clients from, local realtors.
Mm,
They are the go-to that you want to partner with to get these jobs because they are selling the houses. They know who's moving. Their clients are the ones that are going to need this service.
mhm,
So realtors number 1, stagers. I work really closely with a local stager. She realized early on that she didn't want to deal with the decluttering and the pre-staging part of it. So she sends her clients to me. We go in, we declutter, we take away donations, you know, we get things set so that she can come in and actually do the staging.
mhm,
So I don't advertise myself as a stager. I just stay in the organizing lane and I help local stagers. So we come in, before the house is even on the market sometimes.
mhm.
And then we'll stay with that client through the move a lot of times because they like what we've done, on the front end. So realtors, stagers, and then moving companies. Get your name out there, meet with the owners of these companies and just say, this is a service that we offer. I haven't really advertised in print. It's just word of mouth through realtors, stagers, and moving companies.
Okay, pop quiz time. How would you feel 6 months from now if you were sitting in this same spot and you owned your own professional organizing business that was booked out with clients that you actually really like to work with every single day? How would you feel in that moment? I imagine that you'd feel pretty good, but we're sitting here today and there might be something holding you back. It could be that little doubt whispering to you, who am I to do this? And I'm here to tell you right now that I have been there, we've all been there, and it is not only possible to overcome those fears, but it is essential because there are people out there right now who need someone exactly like you. Remember, I am here in your corner to help you with this process. My brand new mini course, From Overlooked to Overbooked, it's all about finding and attracting the right clients for your business to book your calendar solid with proven strategies. No more reinventing the wheel. I'm going to show you how to set up and optimize your website and boost your visibility with SEO strategies that actually work, that I use in my own business and many of my clients do as well. I'm going to show you how to promote your business so that you don't feel like a sleazy used car salesman from the 1980s. And I'm going to show you marketing strategies and materials that you definitely haven't come across. They are specific to our industry. And I'm going to show you how to network effectively, who to talk to. I'm going to give you scripts and I'm going to give you templates, all the things that you need to feel confident stepping into your business owner's shoes and rocking it to build a successful organizing business. And lastly, I want to invite you, if you're ready for more tools and you want to get paying clients in the door faster, to go pick up my Pro Organizer Forms Pack, which has 9 done for you forms in a free Canva account that are 100% customizable templates. You get access to all the essential forms that you need to onboard your clients and run your business professionally. You get the client agreement, health and safety waiver, credit card authorization form, and so many other forms that you will need to run your business. You start with the starter pack or the premium pack. You have two options to choose from. And again, that information is linked down below. As a thank you for being an amazing member of my speaker fam, you're going to get $8 off both my overbooked course and my Pro Organizer Forms pack using the code YTPRO8 at checkout. So that's it. No more waiting. It is time to step up and make your dreams a reality, because your future as a sought after professional organizer is just one decision away. Yeah, again, so simple and so important. And I think that the networking aspect with other business owners is an often overlooked, very powerful marketing tool. And it's just a matter of getting comfortable being uncomfortable and walking into these offices and saying, hey, having information for them, you know?
Exactly. And once you do a move and the word, like people know in my area that I'm known for doing moving jobs and that my team and I do a good job, then it's word of mouth between realtors. Sometimes I'll get a call from a realtor that I've never even met before. And, so it just goes back to when you do good work, the word will get out, and word of mouth and having connection, with other local businesses is so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And so this all sounds great in theory, right? It's an exciting prospect. Yes, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of moving parts, but it's an exciting prospect. And I'm sure there's people listening and watching that are kind of like scratching their heads thinking, I don't know, like this sounds like a lot. So let's see if we can help kind of change their minds a little bit, get them excited about this. Why don't you share like a memorable story or a success story, if you've got one, about how these move management strategies have significantly impacted a client's experience and outcome, and how important these gigs really are?
Well, I mean, I don't think we've ever done a move where the clients have not been over the moon, because think about it. When you're moving, it's a transition, whether it's a happy transition, a sad transition, a death in the family, whatever, it's a transition, right? And life transitions are hard. So we come in, we're impartial. We can make decisions quickly. We can help the clients make decisions. So we did a move this past fall where we were at the house. It was an estate in New Jersey. We were there for 2 months. Okay. So that's like a long time. It's not like an in and out type of thing. And we completely downsized this estate for our client, including, setting up for an estate sale and having donations and then things that didn't sell in the estate sale, making sure that they found a home. And then, we had a huge dumpster. I mean, we had to clean out this huge house and pack it up. They were moving out of state, so we didn't handle the unpacking. But just like the client said, she could not have done it without us. And we really just helped her through a really tough time. Downsizing is hard.
It
And
is.
we're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of everybody's leaving New Jersey right now. So seeing a lot, and who knows, I might be next. No, I'm just kidding. Like my youngest is starting college in the fall. And I'm like,
Take MacMom
take MacMom on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people are downsizing and moving out of the Northeast. It's just the thing that's happening. And so we're seeing a lot more of these type of jobs. And, you've got to empty out a house that someone's lived in for 20 plus years.
Right.
It's a
Right.
lot. And she said, I could not have done this on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that especially with estates and things, when houses are, 10,000 square feet plus with multiple levels, and maybe the person is an antique furniture collector. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces, and being able to have the team in place, the knowledge and understanding and the training, hopefully to be able to manage a job like this is daunting, but it's also very valuable because it is a service that a lot of people need. So, I'm sure there's probably some misconceptions, some misunderstandings, myths, if you will, about this service. And how would you go about debunking those, if you want to share a few with us, and what your thoughts are on them?
miss in terms of that we're not needed for these jobs or that it's the difficulty level.
Both of those I think are very valid
Right.
ones to start with.
I mean, yes, there will be the clients that, reach out and you tell them the cost and then you never hear from them again because there is a cost involved. I mean, if you're having 5 people on site for multiple days, there's a cost to that. But on the flip side, we've never had anyone that's been unhappy, and we've never had anything break in a move that we've packed either, which I have to say, like, kudos to my team. I mean,
Yeah.
we're super careful in the way that we pack, and I think that's why clients do also reach out to us for the packing, um, because we do kind of pack a little bit more carefully. I don't want to say that, dare I say this, but than movers, but we really make sure that everything's secure, especially if it's going out of state.
Right.
Um, so that would be one myth. And then the other one, it's just these are hard jobs. Like, I'm not going to lie. If you want to get into moving, they're long days. You're going to be tired. I wouldn't overcommit. If you've never done a move job, I would start small for sure. I wouldn't do an estate, as your first. I wouldn't recommend that as your first job. Yeah. Woo. I would start small. And if you don't have a team and this is something you want to do, like I said, try to partner with some other local organizers, maybe even one that's done a move before,
Mhm.
because you do kind of have to learn the steps. It's not something that I would take on with a full move. Maybe do an unpack first, start there. I think
Right.
that would be a good place to start.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And
And
work backwards to the packing and the whole concierge. I mean, we even have had sometimes people come in and hang up paintings and TVs and all of that. That's what you call a concierge movie. But if you're gonna get into the game, start small. Maybe just start with some unpacking jobs.
absolutely. I love that's really good advice because I think people freak out when it comes to expanding their business.
Mhm.
Especially a lot of my listeners and YouTube viewers are just kind of getting started in the thought of managing more than just themselves. That inner type one. I don't want to call it a control freak. That's what I call myself. I'm
I'm
not
a control freak, 100%.
yeah, not trying to call anybody out here, but the my inner control freak when I first
Mhm.
entertained the idea of hiring people was like, oh, I don't know if I, could trust other people to do it the way that I do. But it has grown my business and my ROI has definitely at least doubled, if not more than doubled, since
100%.
right. So
Same, same. I mean, we were talking about this off camera. It's about 50% of our business now are the moving jobs. And if we did not offer this service, I would not have, we would not make the numbers that we're making. They're more profitable jobs, the
right.
moving jobs, because they usually require more people, more time, you know. I don't upcharge for moving jobs, but there are a lot more hours involved. So you're able to get the revenue, one moving job might equal the revenue of 4 or 5 smaller jobs.
Mhm. Exactly, exactly, and you're doing a lot of the same work aside from just more
Mhm,
packing and things. So we did touch on and you gave some great advice on who to network with.
mhm.
Um, so in terms of some people might are just maybe not seasoned in networking with other business professionals. They might not know what to say or how to approach or
Mhm.
whatever. So, and I'm sure this is something that we could literally do an entire podcast episode just on that. So
Yeah.
we don't have the time for that, but I do want to
Mhm.
just get, a couple of nuggets of wisdom for you and just the thoughts that you have on the importance of networking and building those relationships in the move management industry and just share some tips with how to establish those meaningful connections.
Right. So I'm a big person. Let's meet for coffee. Let's meet for a drink. If there's local realtors that you know in your community and you don't know them, they're people like us. They're entrepreneurs as well. I think people kind of associate realtors as like, they're just like us.
Mhm.
They're entrepreneurs. Reach out to a local realtor or two that you've heard of. Maybe you don't know them, maybe you do know them, and just meet them and explain to them how you can help them and how you can help their clients.
Mhm.
That's what I've done. Get on, a lot of realtors have like a preferred vendor list where they'll have, their list of an organizer, housekeeper keepers, handyman, whatever. Get on their lists. Get your name out there. It's so important. And you don't have to spend a ton of money on this. Like, I don't spend a lot on, for me, I find the ads and that little flyers that come to people's houses are not effective.
Mhm.
And I think most organizers would tell you that. Like, I've never really gone down that road, and people that I know who have, it's just not effective. I'm more one-on-one, let's meet, let's grab a cup of coffee. And I just tell them about my team, jobs that we've done, how we can help them. And again, like I said, the word of mouth, you do a job for one realtor, she'll refer you to another realtor, and it just kind of like snowballs. And that's really how we get most of our moving clients.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. I think that's a great place to start. As people start to develop these scripts and ideas for conversation and reaching out. So, just to kind of pivot a little bit and talk about this from a different angle. Um, I foresee, as a business coach and somebody who is always talking to fellow organizers about what direction the industry is going, the trends that may be appearing. What are some trends that you foresee shaping the future of move management, and how can professional organizers stay ahead of the curve to meet evolving client needs? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think as I talked about before, we are a country where we're an aging country. I mean, people are living a lot longer. And, like my mother has passed away, but my dad's still alive. His house is full. I mean, I'm in New Jersey. I grew up in North Carolina, so I'm not there,
Hmm.
but that's going to need to be dealt with. So a lot of people my age are dealing with this now. And that's why I've been doing a lot of these downsizing jobs with these homes that have just, you know, they were the baby boomers, I guess, with that generation where they saved everything.
Hmm.
And we're seeing a lot of this now. Minimalism is fairly new, but the aging population are just houses full of things.
Right.
And, it's not all garbage. Like, it's not all stuff that there's, like you said, antiques. There's things that, we try to find homes for those things. We do estate sales. We try to sell as much as possible. I mean, this is a thing now. The minimalism is pretty new. So I would say a lot of houses we see are maximalists, or if you want to call it that. And
Sure.
so that's a trend right now, is just that generation, and all the things, and, trying to sort through years and years of stuff. It takes time.
It does. Yeah. And we are, and this is something that I speak about in a lot of presentations. The line is, and this is the truth. We are in the middle of the largest intergenerational transfer of wealth in human history for
Yes.
exactly the reasons that you just spelled out. And so there are so many people that need help
Hmm.
specifically with this, and they need this service.
Yep.
And we offer
And
all of it, from decluttering to the unpacking on the other end.
mhm. Yeah, and there are organizers that specialize just in the, like, moving people into assisted living. We don't do that. I don't offer, like, senior management, but, I work with seniors that are kind of, you know, moving them. I don't work with, assisted living homes, but I know other local organizers that do, so I might refer clients to. We kind of focus more on the older clients that are downsizing maybe to a condo or a smaller house,
Right.
not necessarily assisted living, because that's a whole other thing. But when you go to assisted living, you're really just bringing your clothes. I mean, at that point, you've really downsized.
Right. Yeah. Talk about minimalism, right?
Yeah, talk about minimalism. you know, but there's all the things that you need to deal with before you get to that point. So that's where we're at. We're at this generational gap where, you're in between 30s and 50s, you've got aging parents, and your parents are living longer.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you have all that generation kept all the things. I mean, my dad has a room above his garage. I mean, my rocking horse is up there, my dressers from when I was a teenager. I don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
Dollhouse, I mean, I don't know why this stuff is there. It's just he'll call me every once in a while, leave a message. Do you know of a good organizer? I'm like, yes, I do, but I'm in New Jersey.
Dad, oh my gosh.
So he's like, I'm looking for a good organizer. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the guilt because I don't have time to go down there because I'm managing the business up here.
Right, right. Yeah, that is so tough. I'm blessed that my parents, or at least my mom and my stepdad live in this area, and I do like, no joke, once a month,
Mhm.
I donate my time to them to go through their paperwork, to help them with their garage. Like for all the reasons that we have spelled out today, because I don't want to find myself in that situation now with my parents that live, my dad and my stepmom that live on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., totally different story. I would
Yep.
love to get my hands on their house, but it's not going to happen for quite some time. And it's a similar situation. So we're
Yeah.
all faced with this,
We're
right?
all faced with this. And every time I'm there, like you said, I am going through stuff. I'm throwing stuff out. I am just like, it's exhausting because, I want to go down there and visit. And I feel like I'm always working on something.
Right.
And my
Right.
mother-in-law's house, don't get me started there. I mean, it's just and the problem I don't think she's gonna watch this, so I'm okay to say that, but again, like, a huge house in Westchester County, New York, just full of stuff
Mhm.
that I don't think any of us want. I mean, I have a house full of stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. This kind of is a good segue into my next question. And
Mhm,
this is a touchy subject for a lot of people, especially professional organizers. This is
mhm.
one that like really gets people fired up. So,
Okay, I'm
um
ready.
yeah, I'm not like trying to start anything here. But obviously we're there's a lot of stuff, and we're trying to be as responsible,
Mhm,
eco-conscious as
mhm,
possible throughout this
mhm,
process. But the reality is, and I tell my clients this, if you were to, and this is not a nice thing to say, but my clients, whatever, we have a special relationship, and I'm like, if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen to all your stuff? And they think about it and they're like, well, I guess it's probably all going to get thrown away. And we're like, exactly. So
mhm,
we can throw away certain things now, or whatever,
mhm,
or try to repurpose them responsibly, do the estate
mhm.
sale, whatever. So how do you prioritize sustainability and eco-conscious practices in the move management service, for your clients?
Well, it's hard because, again, going back to the baby boomers, they have Hummels, they have Iadros, they have all the crystal that there's not much of a market for, unfortunately,
Right.
and it's hard to tell somebody that age that their stuff isn't valuable because it's very valuable to them,
Mhm.
but there's not a lot of resale for that. I mean, if, you know, find antiques, I'll call in an antique dealer. We'll do estate sales, but a lot of times there are things that don't sell. We had this particular client that I was talking about in the state. She had a gorgeous dining room table and chairs that, strangely enough, these chairs, I thought they were going to be the first thing to go, and they didn't go. And they're gorgeous. And they were like, I knew the price of what each chair was worth.
Mhm.
So you know what? Everyone on my team, we all took like 2, 3, 4 chairs, and she was so happy, and I have 2 in my dining room. I swapped out 2 of mine. It just happened to the fabric that was on these chairs just kind of went with my house, and every time I see them, I think of her, and
Oh,
she was so happy. Like, they were literally gonna we tried to donate them, and then I was like, "Wait, these are too valuable." So everyone on my team, I think Meredith has 4 chairs. I have 2. Like, we all have these chairs.
yeah.
And it's just she was so happy, and it makes me happy every time I see these chairs. This was the client that we were with for 2 months,
Mhm.
it's just so sometimes I try to find a home for things, and even in that instance, I was just going on my Instagram and saying, like, putting pictures up of things that oddly enough didn't sell that I thought were valuable, and so I treat them like children, like, I always try to find a home for things, and sadly, a couple things did have to get chopped up in the dumpster. That's just the sad reality with some of these moving projects when you can't sell it, you can't donate it. Um, Big armoires are just out.
Mhm.
Habitat for Humanity won't take them, the vets won't take them, nobody will take them, and we literally just have to chop them up.
Mhm. Yeah, it just is what it is. It's a harsh reality, but it is worth putting it out there. So people don't get hung up on this stuff
You
anymore.
can't get hung up on it. At the end of the day, when the moving truck is pulling away, you have to make a decision. And there were a couple pieces that I even had an armoire in my house. I transitioned to like a flat screen on the wall and a smaller unit.
Mm-hmm.
I could not find a house for it. It was a beautiful piece, but you know what? I had it for about 20 years and I figure at that point, you've gotten your monies out of it. You've already spent the money. You can't dwell. My husband was like, oh, it has to be worth something. I'm like, Rich, nobody wants this piece. I paid somebody $100 to come into my house and literally dismantle it and just take it away. I mean, I hated doing it, but it was a very heavy, big piece
Mm-hmm.
and nobody wants those pieces anymore.
Right, right. Yeah. And then from there, maybe it's more just thinking about future purchases, what those look like, and making more contemporary relevant decisions that aren't going to end up in that situation again. Right.
Exactly. Pianos are also a problem.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Baby grand pianos. The younger generation they don't want baby grand pianos.
Mm-hmm.
So with those, we try to donate them to a local school, local college. They're tough.
Mm-hmm.
They're really tough to unload because it requires special handling. You can't just move a piano. Um, those I think are the biggest challenge. Those really, really beautiful pianos that were very common years ago are
Right.
just not popular right now.
Right, right. Yeah. And most places, I'm sure people hit them up to see if they can donate to these organizations, these schools, symphonies.
Right. But there's only so many pianos they can take, right?
Right. Usually they only need one.
One. Yeah. Like I have one in my house that we bought from the previous owner. And when I downsize, I'm going to hope to do the same thing because honestly, it's just they're hard to move and they're hard to sell.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then if you sell it, you still have to get it in and out of the house. And sometimes the cost of moving it is not even worth, a lot of
Right.
times for pianos, we'll basically put them up for free if you can move it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because moving companies don't like to move them either,
Mm-mm.
unless it's a specialty mover. Yeah, all of these different things to consider.
Mhm.
It's something that definitely requires a lot more unpacking, but we can't be here forever, obviously. So
Mhm.
why don't we just wrap up with a few pieces of advice, some words of wisdom? I'm sure, well, actually, to ask you a question, are you in my free Facebook group?
Am I? Yeah, I think I am.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Just as a little aside, because I always like,
Yeah, I am. I comment in it, but under my full name. I think my maiden name it's my so you might not recognize me.
gotcha. Okay. It's good though, because I'm sure people will have questions, but so just,
Yeah, I am on that group. So it's my main name is Juhas. It's Hungarian. So if you see that, it's very different from Smith.
okay. All right. See all these things today that I'm learning about you.
Mhm.
So just send us off into the rest of our day with a few pieces of advice, and then people can follow up and ask you more questions in the
Yeah.
group later.
I mean, I already touched upon this in the beginning, but start small. I didn't start out doing concierge moves. Start small.
Mhm.
I would start with the unpacking first, get a handle on that, and then kind of work backwards. Say, oh, we can also pack. Decluttering and packing go hand in hand. So I think you could start there also and work forward to, declutter and pack someone, say, oh, we can also unpack you, but don't try to jump in full feet doing a concierge move for the first move you do.
Mhm.
It would be very difficult. And don't overpromise a client either when you're first getting into the moving business. Have a contract with what you're doing. Are you doing the kitchen, pantry, laundry room? Like contract out specific rooms in the beginning. That's how I started. Be
Mm.
very clear because of course they're going to want you to do everything, but if you're contracted for the kitchen, pantry, and closets, then that's what you do. And if they want you to come back and do other things, you can add that. But when you're starting, be very specific in your contract, what rooms, how many hours per day. I don't recommend more than 6 hours. Our moving jobs are usually 9:30 to 4:30.
Mhm.
It's after that, you're like seeing stars.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
know? So definitely, clients might, you can't be there until 10 o'clock at night.
No, no, absolutely not. And it can be very difficult on your body. So that's very good
Very
advice.
difficult on your body. So have it in writing what your contract is. I, and I know you're probably not going to like this, but I price per hour for moving jobs because again, they're tricky and we do this a lot and you just don't know exactly. When we do a concierge move, we pretty much know exactly how long it's going to take. But if we didn't pack the boxes, if we're unpacking from a moving company, you would not believe the stuff we find.
Oh, I'm so sure. Just
Like, it does,
absolute
it's
chaos.
labeled kitchen and we open it and it was like, "Okay, this is not kitchen," So sometimes we're like, we have to go through hundreds of boxes and that's slow. So I price my moving jobs per organizer per hour, and that has worked the best. And I've talked to a lot of people that do it that way. I think package pricing for moves is a little bit tougher because you just don't know the nuances, especially if you didn't pack. If you're unpacking and you didn't pack, you don't know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, very true and it's a very valid point. And I love the debate between hourly versus
I
packaging.
know, I
It's
know,
just
I
the
know. I'm
best.
probably like, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll go to package pricing, but for my business, the hourlies, and maybe it's because of the part of the country that I live in. Like, they want to know hours, how much time, how much money, and then the products. Like, I outline that for all my clients. And I have organizer friends that don't even, they just send their clients, this is how much the product was. We send them with every invoice a sheet of everything we use, all tallied up so they know exactly what they're paying for. That
Right.
just works for me and my business, and that's how I do my pricing.
Great. I love that. And I love that you're able to voice that and see how successful and thriving your business has been with that model. It just shows that there's no like one way.
Exactly. There's no one way because other organizers swear by package pricing. It just,
Right.
for me, I haven't gotten to that point yet. But like you said, I think there's two ways. But in moving jobs, from my experience and talking to other organizers like me that really do these bigger jobs,
Mhm.
it's still better to price per hour, I think, so
Yeah.
that there's no surprises.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Then you're not getting stuck just totally blowing your estimate out of the water. That's the worst. That is the worst. Been
The
there.
worst. It's the worst. But you know what? If your client sees you, that's why we bring laptops to every job and we have our system that at the end of the day, we know exactly where we are with product. And if it's a multiple day job, we'll say like, this is where we are. Do you want to add this? Do you want to subtract something?
Hmm.
And most people are like, okay, as long as you let the client know where you're at, I feel like they're okay with, sometimes going over budget, but I very rarely go over. We really try to plan these out. And moving jobs are like any kind of organizing job. Like, there's so much behind the scenes. I don't think people realize
Hmm.
we don't just show up with like bins and baskets. There's so much thought that goes into it, planning, design work, and moving jobs are part of that. You're unpacking, but then you're also, a lot of times we're organizing and setting up their home. So we're doing the organizing on top of the packing and unpacking and being just very upfront and clear, and keeping track of your time and your hours and your team is so important so that you don't lose money on these jobs.
Absolutely. That is such great advice. That's so generous. Thank you, Marisa, for sharing all of
You're
that with
welcome.
us today. I think that this is going to be super helpful. And I want to make sure that everybody can get a hold of you. Obviously, like I mentioned, Marisa's in the Facebook group, so you
Mhm.
guys can tag her, ask questions about today's episode. But if we wanted to find you outside of that, tell us how we can find you online.
Okay. So I'm on Instagram, MacMom Organizing. I'm also on TikTok, which a lot of people don't know. It's a little bit different than our Instagrams. We do a lot more of our antics, kind of behind the scenes. So that's kind of fun. That's also MacMom Organizing. My profile is on my Instagram, so you can link to my website, and my cell phone is on there. So really, I'm pretty much an Instagram girl.
Mhm.
Um, that's the best place to find me, and you can go on my link tree and in my website, you can get my cell phone number if you want. I'm great at text. I mean, I have an iWatch, I have a phone. We were talking about this earlier, Melanie and I am probably the wrong example. Like if somebody texts me, I'll pretty much answer them, you know. But a lot of my clients like that. Like I know you're not supposed to do that, but I'm very, very responsive. So please, if you have any questions, send me a text.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you.
All right, fam, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here today. It truly is an honor. I don't just say that. I really appreciate that you take time out of your day to come and hang out with us at the Speak Organized podcast. I hope you got tons of value out of today's episode. If you want to continue the conversation, Marisa is in the free Facebook group. You can ask questions there, or you can comment down below. I also want to make sure that you get on my calendar for that coaching call. Don't sit on this any longer. The calendar book's out pretty far, and I don't want you to wait weeks and weeks to get your valuable questions answered so that you can start your business and start making some money. Let's go. I'm really excited at the possibility of helping you be able to do that. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click that donation link. We would be so grateful for anything that you're able to help out the channel to continue bringing you high quality content. And beyond that, I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.